All right, everybody, welcome back into Cherry Picking, Week 8 of Buy Low and Sell High. If you missed this week's must add, be sure to check that out. A couple of guys definitely had some good nights already this week, looking at Dylan Cousins, even Rasmus Sandin getting a little bit more ice time now with Morgan Riley and a couple defenders on the Leafs out. But today's episode, Buy Low, Sell High, we're going to get right into it. We have 4 guys, 2 buy lows and 2 sell highs. The first guy we're going to be buying low on this week, Sam Bennett, Florida Panthers. 23 games, only has 5 goals, 11 assists, just 2 power play points, playing on the second power play, and then a shooting percentage of just 7. So this team definitely has a different look now with, obviously, Huberdeau's gone, Uyghur's gone, you have Matt Tkachuk. Barkov hasn't been playing great. He's hurt right now. And this team still has been able to produce at a pretty high level in terms of offensive chances. But fortunately for Sam Bennett, he has not been the beneficiary of that. But I think there's hope for this guy to kind of start getting it going here. He's playing the most of his career right now, to be honest. His share of possible ice time is 30%, which is the highest of his career. It translates to about 18 minutes per game as well. Secondly, we're looking at an all-time low shooting percentage for Sam Bennett, and this is a guy who shoots the puck a lot. Last couple of years, he's had over 225 shot attempts, and right now, his shooting percentage is only 7%, and he has already 125 shot attempts. He has 71 shots on goal, which is second or third on the team right now. His shooting percentage last season was 10%, and he scored 28 goals. And now with Huberdeau, Uyghur, and even Barkov hurt right now, a little bit more responsibility lays on him, especially to score. He has 1 point his last 5 games, but this Panthers team, their expected goals percentage is 4th in the NHL at 56. He plays on the first line right now with Barkov out. He'll go back to the second power play line as well. He has all the tools to really produce here. He just hasn't been able to execute, but I think that's going to change. So Sam Bennett is definitely a guy to buy low on. All right, so the first guy we're actually going to be selling high on this week, I wonder what your guys' opinions will be on this, but Andrei Svechnikov on the Carolina Hurricanes, plays on the wing, obviously. 23 games, 14 goals, 10 assists, 9 power play points, 72 shots on goal. Like, obviously, all these stats very, very glamorous, but it's pretty interesting right now. If you look at some of the guys that are below him right now in terms of fantasy points, you have Artemi Panarin, Jake Gensel, Johnny Gaudreau, JT Miller, Kyle Connor, Barkov, who I just mentioned as well. Are all below him right now in fantasy points. Now, I'm not saying go trade for all these guys. You'll be able to get Svechnikov for these guys. But off first glance, would you have thought that Svechnikov would have a higher value of any of these guys at any point in the season? Because right now, he does. But I don't think it's going to last. And I'll tell you why. Svechnikov right now is on pace for 86 points. That's with 24 points in 23 games. That's 17 points higher than his total last year and his highest total yet. He's a very skilled player. But he's far too efficient right now, I think, to keep up with these numbers. He's not creating enough offense on his own to keep up with this pace. His expected goals number is 8.5 with an actual goals rate of 14. Reason for that is shooting percentage is out of control right now. Or not out of control, but 90% is a little too high for any number we've seen Svechnikov live at in his career so far. He is young, so there's a little bit of unknown and ambiguity, but going off the numbers, I think he is due for a little bit of regression here. His shooting percentage last year was 12, so with how loaded this offense is too, I just don't see him keeping up this low amount of scoring opportunities and this high production of goals. Like, you have Aho as well. Natchez right now too is starting to produce at a pretty high level. Teravainen's hurt, and then also Pacioretty will be coming back at some point too. So I think this right now, the highest value you have Svechnikov at, and you could trade maybe for some of those guys and definitely some other guys that just haven't started off on the right foot. So the second guy we're going to be buying low on this week is Joel Eriksson on the Minnesota Wild. Right now he centers that third kind of grittier line on Minnesota, but he does contribute in the scoring department along with pretty much everywhere else on the ice as well. Like, just looking at some of the other categories that aren't as glamorous that you'll see for forwards, he's 35 hits on the season so far. He's second most block shots on the team with about 12 amongst forwards. He's 61 or 62 shots on goal, which is second most on the team, only behind Kaprizov, and he's obviously the lead scoring option right now. He plays on the first power play. He's on the second penalty kill. It translates to about 19 minutes per game, which is plenty enough time for a guy who's going to be someone who could finish in the top 100, top 150 for sure in terms of fantasy hockey players. And his numbers are there to get him there as well. He has the third highest points per 60 minutes at 2.49 on the team. And he had 50 points last year. There's definitely this guy can do it all. I'm going to say you can do it all. And definitely a guy that you should be buying low on right now, because I think this Minnesota team is going to start trending in the right direction. They traded for Ryan Reeves. I don't think that's going to have a huge factor, but maybe a little bodyguard for Kaprizov, allow these other guys to score as well. He's second in expected goals at 9, but he only has 6 goals, which is 4th on the team so far this season. The interesting part about that, his expected goals per 60 last year was 1.15, and he had 26 goals in 77 games. His expected goals for 60 this year is 1.25. So a notch higher, and his shooting percentage is actually much lower than it was last year too. He's also has the 3rd highest goals percentage on the team, so when he's on the ice, Minnesota is creating scoring opportunities. As I mentioned, I think their offense is going to start trending in the right direction. Last week, Boldy was a guy that I was telling people to buy low on. I think there's going to be a couple guys on this Wild team, since they had such a slow start, that you'll be able to buy low on. And I think Eriksson will be a part of this offense for the rest of the season, so definitely try to get him right now. All right, the last guy for this video, and the second guy we're going to be selling high on this week. Pains me to say this, but Nick Suzuki on the Montreal Canadiens. I'm a Habs fan, so obviously don't like to say that a guy's going to start regressing, but he's just been producing at a way too high of a level for what we've seen in the past as well. So far, 22 games, he has 12 goals, 12 assists, 6 power play points, 47 shots on goal, 26% shooting percentage in all situations on the ice. He's playing about 20 minutes per game. So definitely the volume and the time, or the time on the ice is definitely there. But I think it's pretty safe to say Suzuki is unlikely to hold this production for the rest of the season. His shooting percentage is just insanely high. Forget the power play. Him and Caulfield have definitely figured it out. St. Louis has a great little system they're going there. But his shooting percentage on 5-on-5 is 30%. And his expected goals for per 60 is less than 1. It's 0.68. That's ranked 293rd in the NHL right now. So for a guy that has 12 goals, this doesn't make sense that he's going to be able to keep it up. There's definitely more talent on this Habs team, so maybe that's the reason why they're just creating better scoring chances. Suzuki could score on fewer scoring chances. Like you got guys like Kirby Dach, that first line's looking really good. Even Sean Monahan, good depth guy. Caulfield's been blossoming into this absolute tank on the ice too. And then even some of these offensive defensemen that they've picked up and started playing, Caden Gould, Jordan Harris, even Mikey Matheson as well. We've talked about it before, like good players on teams' shooting percentage is generally around 10 to 14%. So saying that he's going to stay above 20% or even 25, 30 is just a little bit too much. And he's not even the number 1 scoring option on this team either. I don't think his production will fall off a cliff, but I definitely think there's going to be a regression where he won't be inside the top 100 anymore. And right now, he's the 77th best fantasy hockey player according to Yahoo Scoring. So capitalize on this kid's peak value right now. I think there's definitely some options out there. Try to get like a Timmy Stutzel's a good option. Even Jordan Kyrou is starting to play a little bit better now too. And then even Nazem Kadri, off to a slow start, a guy that is very, very valuable in bangers leagues as well. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought in the comments about this buy low and sell high this week. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the Discord. If you have any other questions, there's always some great discussion going on there for fantasy hockey, and I will see you guys on the next one.